Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be covering the KREELA Witch Arm Fragment Summoning Event, giving you all the knowledge you need to know. We'll talk about her as a champion, go over her multipliers, and all of my thoughts on her now that we can actually see her in the game as a live champion. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so as you can see, I've currently got 30 out of 100 points because I maxed out the summoning event part of the event to get the 30 fragments today because of 2x sacreds that I just got done doing on stream. And if you're curious about following along with this stuff, you can use the in-game news post right here. But I also want to take a moment to give a quick shout out to IumaLove. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. I will link to that website down below, but they actually lay it out super cool. Don't give me credit for this. I didn't make this chart. I will link to it down below to iumalove.net. They put out a lot of good stuff for Raid Shadow Legends. It's a very good resource. If you're not familiar with that website, you should definitely swing over and check it out after you watch the video, of course. But yeah, anyway, it lays it out very nice. You can see here on the 14th is where it starts. That's today. And then we have the Summon Rush live, the Arena, and the Fire Night Tournament live as of right now. And you can see the 30 fragments that I already got from the Summoning Rush, and I still need to scoop up the fragments from the Arena and the Fire Night. And if you are curious, it's going to take 100 fragments to summon the legendary champion that we're all going for. And the important thing is they have 155 total points. If you look at the chart, there's 155 available points to get, and you need to get 100 of those 155 to be able to summon the champion. So that's a good thing. There's more points than is needed. If they structured this where it was only 100 points and you had to go max out every single event and get every single point out there, or you end up falling short, that would be really bad and that would be tough on the player base. So I'm thankful they got that part right. The overall structure of the event seems to be pretty fair in terms of what I've seen so far. We haven't seen some of the other stuff go live, but from what I've seen so far, at least a high percentage of the player base that is really going for her and putting in a lot of effort to get her is probably going to be able to get her. So the overall structure from what I've seen so far at least seems to be pretty good, given the fact that you need 100 fragments and there's 155 available, so it's not so taxing to get every single fragment out there. But now I want to pull up KREELA and have a little discussion about some testing that we've done in my clan, and I've reached out to a bunch of different people that were lucky enough to summon her with sacred shards and all that. We've done some in-game testing and provide some of the information that we've gone ahead and figured out. So go ahead and pull up the little graphic that I made here so you can see the multipliers. And I went ahead and added rectangles on the stats on the bottom right. The HP, yellow means it's average, it's all right. Green means it's good, and red means it's a little bit subpar. So we've got a pretty good HP of 16,680 for an attack scaling champion. That's nothing too bad. It's not great, not bad. Then the attack is in red because she is an attack champion, but her attack is lower than 1,300. We see a lot of legendaries up at 14, 1,500 something when they are attack scaling champions. So her attack is a little bit low. It's going to be hard to get her multiplier to super scale. The speed, it's all right. It's 99. It's kind of right in that average range of 97 to 103. And then the crit damage is 57. There's usually two different slots of crit damage. It's either going to be 50 or 57. She gets the 57 version, so that box is green. Now, as we move into the multipliers, you can see the A1 is 4.5x, the A2 is 4.8x, the 4.4 is, or the A3 is 4.4x, but it's AoE. So the A3 is probably her best in terms of multipliers. And if you're curious on how those stack up in terms of averages, they're all pretty par for the course for attack scaling legendaries. The 4.5, the 4.8, and the 4.4. They're all within 0.1 or 0.2 of an average attack legendary. You couple that with the fact that her base attack is a little bit low, and she can hit pretty decent. It's going to be hard to get her to hit crazy like a big in or something like that. But in terms of multipliers and damage output, she should be pretty decent, average, slightly above average. So when you couple that with the fact that she's got some good boosting and ally attacking, she's a pretty solid champion. So let's put away and talk about her kit in terms of what we've been exploring from testing. Now, the A1, there's not a whole lot to go over. It's pretty cool. It's going to be placing a shield on the champion that needs it in terms of lowest HP, and it scales off of her max HP, which is pretty cool. You can control what that shield is worth. And then the A2, there's an interesting thing about this A2. What I'm hearing is that The stun you can control. You're able to run up and target a certain enemy, but the allies that team up with her on the ally attack part of it are going to use their default skills but attack a random enemy. They're not going to necessarily attack the same one that KREELA attacks, and that is unique to KREELA. Like when Longbeard uses the ally attack, the allies follow Longbeard to that same target. So I'm assuming that was intentional, but yeah, it's definitely unique to KREELA, and keep that in mind when you're building her and using her. As the allies, if they use AoE, it's not really going to matter. If it's like a Sinesha Skullcrown type Blender Blitz comp, it's not really you're not gonna notice anything. But if you're using single target champions or anything like that, that is something you may notice. And then her AI will actually prioritize this A3. So keep that in mind if you're using her as like a blender defense or something. She's going to prioritize this. She's not going to run in and do her ally attack ability as the default. And we haven't really seen them hotfix champions AI. It's usually a while down the road. So I'd be very surprised if Plarium changes that anytime soon. You should plan for the fact that she's going to prioritize the A3, and then her next turn she will do the A2. So what does that mean? I think she's going to be very good on offense because you can control what she does. You can really slot her in a situation that she will really shine, and you can control which ability you want her to use, which will probably typically be the ally attack, because that can be super impactful when you pair her in the right team. But it also means she may not be a very optimal choice on defense. So keep that in mind if you're building those 3v3 defense teams. She's going to prioritize this. So if you want the blender comp, that's a very important thing to note on defense. Not as big of a deal on offense. But now I want to dive into the offers and discuss if there's anything out there that is a good scoop up during the 2x Sacred event. So here we are. We've got the offer sheet pulled up, and I was right in predicting this. This is the standard Sacred Shard offer that Plarium likes to throw out. We will plug this in. $30 is typically a pass for me. And then you'll see I've got the Sacred Shards highlighted in yellow because we are currently during a 2x Sacred. So I did bump the value of them up just a little bit. But we've got the 100 gems and the 1 Sacred Shard. Yeah, it's tough to... This is kind of a whale offer in my opinion. For those of us that are being diligent about our spending, unfortunately, this is probably one we're going to want to stay away from. We can get a little bit more value in buying Ancient Shard offers typically during 2x Ancient events. And then in terms of the other stuff here we've got going live, we've got the special skill pack. So let's plug this in. Let's remove the Sacred, and we're going to go 7,7. Gems, 3,000. 3.25. And boom, so we've got a 1.62. That one's pretty solid for high spenders, but again, for people that are really conscious about their spending, $100 is a lot of money, and if I'm going to spend that much money, I would like to get some shards in there, so that one's probably a pass for me as well, but I could see why whales would be excited about that if they summoned some legendaries or something that they need to develop, but I personally would probably pass on that one. Otherwise, all the other stuff comes from the summoning that I did today, and then the accessories one is probably a skip for 99% of you out there. So not a whole lot to cover in terms of that one. But yeah, let's pull this stuff up one more time, and I will have this stuff down in a pinned comment so you can find it easily in terms of this infographic, and then the link to IumaLove.net where you can track the events and have that chart. That's really handy because I do think KREELA is a pretty good champion. I would say out of the 90 legendaries, she's probably like in the 25th to 30th best legendary. She's definitely going to be a solid champion, and I would go ahead and scoop her up, get your hands on her. You want to collect all the legendaries you can if it's realistic. So if it's realistic for you to go after it, I would do it. And remember, there's 155 total fragments. You're going to need 100 of them to get KREELA. So keep an eye on those events. You can use IumaLove.net to keep an eye on it. And yeah, I think she's a pretty solid champion, and it looks like a pretty decent event so far from what I've seen. But if I'm wrong, let me know what you think down in the comments. I always enjoy reading your input and seeing how the community is feeling in general. So as always, thank you for watching. Good luck on those 2x summons. Have a great rest of your weekend. Peace.